In today's lesson, we will talk about MS Access. MS stands for Microsoft Access. So, Microsoft Access is a database management system. So, before getting into the DBMS or the database management system, I just want to tell or introduce you to the word database. Okay. So, what do you mean by the word database? So, in simple terms, I can say that the database is nothing but the storing of information in an organized way. Okay, storing the information in an organized way. So that is simply database. Database ane word lone you have the meaning. Database, data is nothing but information. If you store the information in an organized way, you call it a database. Let me give you an example. Our register, attendance register, is a database. Yes or no? Our attendance register is a database, and because it is holding the list of all the students in a sequence manner. Okay, starting from roll number 1 to roll number some 30 or 40, how many students or whatever the students we have in the class until then. Okay, all the students' names are written in a sequence and in a orderly fashion based on their roll numbers. So I can say that my register is a database. Yes or no? Suppose let us say I have a collection of books. Let us say I went to a library and I want to ask some particular book. Okay, now I went to a library and the person who looks after the library is called a librarian. Okay, now let us say I want to find a book on computer subject. Okay, and I know the name of the author. So what I'll ask that librarian, so and so book written by so and so author. Now what he'll do, he will check, or he or she, whoever the librarian is, the librarian will check in the records. Okay, he will check in the records. He'll directly go to the appropriate section where the book is available, if it is available. Yes or no? Library మొత్తం చూడడు, because they know where a particular book is available in the library, because all the books are arranged in a proper fashion, or all the books are arranged in a sequence manner. Okay, so I can say that my library or the library data is also a database, because it contains the list of all the books available in the library, and that list is written in an organized way. Hope you are understanding what I'm saying. So that is simply a database. Now what happens if I'm working with large amount of data? Let me give you one more example. Let us say I want to make a list of all the admissions for the year 2023 to 2024. Okay, rep summer అయిపోయిన తర్వాత let us say I want to make the list of all the new admissions. Okay, first admission nunchi last admission varaku, let us say I want to make a list. Okay, what information do I need? I need the information of the student, like their name, father name, some address, okay, and all, along with the date of admission. Okay, now let us say I got some 30 admissions. Now I made a list of all the 30 admissions in a book, in a random fashion అనుకుందాం. ర్యాండమ్గా రాశాను. ఇప్పుడు let us say I want to find a student who joined lately, because my data or my list is in random fashion, ఎట్లా పడితే అట్లా రాశాను. So what I should do, I should check each and every student to find out the student who joined lately. Yes or no? So to eliminate this problem, ఇప్పుడు ఏమవుతుంది, it is taking more time. I should go through all the available students to find out the student who joined lately. If my data is in organized fashion, స్టార్టింగ్ ఫస్ట్ అడ్మిషన్ నుంచి లాస్ట్ అడ్మిషన్ వరకు అదంతా నీట్గా సీక్వెన్స్లో రాసుకున్నాను అనుకోండి, వాట్ హ్యాపెన్స్? ఇప్పుడు నాకు లాస్ట్ అడ్మిషన్ స్టూడెంట్ ఎవరో తెలుసుకోవాలంటే ఐ కెన్ గో టు ద లాస్ట్ నేమ్, ఎస్ ఆర్ నో, డైరెక్ట్ వచ్చేస్తుంది. సో దట్ ఈస్ ద బ్యూటీ ఆఫ్ ఎ డేటాబేస్. నౌ ఇక్కడ నాకు 30 అడ్మిషన్స్ వచ్చాయి. సో రాసుకున్నాను నేను ఒక బుక్లో. బట్ let us say I got some 200 admissions. 200 admissions for this academic year, that is 2023 to 2024. Now what happens? 200 admissions అంటే నేను నోట్ చేసేటప్పుడు there are chances that I might make some mistake. మేబీ ఒక స్టూడెంట్ మిస్ అవ్వచ్చేమో, లేదా అడ్మిషన్ డే ఆర్ డేట్ తప్పు రాయచ్చేమో, లేదా ఆ స్టూడెంట్ యొక్క ఫాదర్ నేమ్ ఆర్ ఎనీథింగ్. There are chances, of course. When we are working with huge amount of data, there are chances that we might commit a mistake. Adi human tendency adi. Okay. Now, in order to avoid these mistakes, in order to overcome these mistakes, the technology introduced a computerized method of storing and organizing and working with the data, and that is simply called as a database management system. Okay, మాన్యువల్గా మనం నోట్స్లో ఆర్ రిజిస్టర్లో లేదంటే ఏదైనా బుక్లో రాసుకుంటాం. బట్ when we are working with huge amount of data, there are chances that we might make some mistakes. ఏదైనా స్టూడెంట్ మిస్ అయ్యే ఛాన్స్ ఉంది నాకు అడ్మిషన్ బుక్లో. Okay, instead of that, what I can do is I can use a computerized method and neatly arrange the data and edit the data, sort the data and all the functionalities anni kuda naku the DBMS, which is nothing but the database management system, it provides me with all these functionalities. And such a software which we are going to discuss in this lesson, and that software is MS Access, Microsoft Access. Okay, now what makes up a database? So if you take a database structure, you will have 3 things. One is the field, the other is a record, the other is a file. Okay, so if you take a look at this table here, all these columns like roll number, name, father's name, address, telephone number, date of birth, all these are called as fields. Fields are nothing but the column names are called as fields. Okay, and these are columns, yes or no? These are columns and these are rows. Now column names are called as fields, and a row అంటే ఇక్కడ నాకు ఎన్ని రోస్ ఉన్నాయి? 3 రోస్ ఉన్నాయి. These 3 rows are nothing but 3 records. Okay, rows are also called as records because my first row is giving me a record of one particular student only. With roll number 101, the student name is Kabir and his father name, his address, telephone number and date of birth. It is a complete record of one particular student, and that is Kabir. If I go to the second row, it gives me a complete record of one particular student, that is Manas or whatever. Okay, so the rows are called as records and the columns are called as fields. Okay, got the point? Okay, the same thing you can see it here also. Now what is a file? A file is a collection of the related records, and again the database, indake cheppam, the database is nothing but if you organize the data in a proper way, okay, then that is nothing but a database. Okay, in database you can sort the data, you can store the data, you can edit the data, you can delete the data, you can work with the data. Simple. So there are 2 types of databases. Okay, that is flat file database and relational database. Flat file, the name itself says flat file, flat. Okay, you can store the data, you can retrieve the data, but you cannot link the data with another data. అంటే ఏంటో అది చెప్తాను ఇప్పుడు నేను. Okay, if you take a look at the relational data, relational నేమ్లోనే ఉంది relational database. That means you can make a relation between 2 different databases. Okay, so ఇదంతా ఏంటనేది you will understand when we take a look at the next example. Okay, so what is a Microsoft Access? I already told you, MS Access. Okay, and MS Access is a relational database. ఇక్కడ చూసాం, we saw the two types of databases. They are flat file database and relational database, and MS Access is an example of a relational database. That means it can make a relationship between two different databases or tables. కింద మళ్ళీ చెప్తా, మళ్ళీ ఇప్పుడు చెప్పిన ఈ ఎగ్జాంపుల్ you will understand it. Okay, so relational database ante it's nothing. Suppose let us say I have this student information table number 1. In table number 1 I have roll number, name, father's name, address, telephone number and date of birth, the same table which we have seen earlier. Okay, now this is my first table, and let us say I have one more table, that is student marks table. Now earlier I created student information table where I have the information of 3 students. ఇప్పుడు స్టూడెంట్ మార్క్స్ టేబుల్ నేను క్రియేట్ చేయాలి అంటే మరలా నేను ఐ డోంట్ హ్యావ్ టు ఇంక్లూడ్ ద స్టూడెంట్ నేమ్, ఓకే, దేర్ క్లాస్ ఆర్ టెలిఫోన్ నెంబర్ ఆర్ ఫాదర్స్ నేమ్ ఆర్ వాట్ ఎవర్. I can simply include one field, that is roll number field. ఇప్పుడు if we take a look at these two tables, the roll number is called common. Okay, roll number 101, 102, 103, and here also roll number 101, 102, 103. roll number field అనేది common ఈ two tables లో. Now what I can do is, in relational database I can make a relation between this table, ఏ టేబుల్, స్టూడెంట్ మార్క్స్ టేబుల్కి, ఇందాక మనం చూసినటువంటి స్టూడెంట్ ఇన్ఫర్మేషన్ టేబుల్కి. I can make a relation using this field, that is roll number field. Okay, now if I want to check who is roll number 1 and what is his grade and చూసుకోవాలనుకో, I can simply check, because this table, the student marks table and the student information table, both are linked. ఓకే, ఇప్పుడు ఇక్కడ నాకు గ్రేడ్ ఏ ఎవరికి వచ్చిందంటే రోల్ నెంబర్ 101కి వచ్చింది, ఎస్ ఆర్ నో. ఇప్పుడు వాళ్ళ నేమ్ తెలుసుకోవాలంటే I can know, because this and that both are linked together, so I can get the name also. Hope you are understanding this. So this is how a relational database works. We can make a relationship between the two tables. Two ane kaadu, you can make relationship between any number of tables if they are having common data. Now let us take a look at the features of Microsoft Access. First feature, Access provides the facility to break large information into small parts so that it is easy to access the information. In the chosen example lo kuda, I have a huge table where I need roll number, student names, father's name, address, telephone number and etc. Now what I did is I broke the table into 2 parts. One is for the information, the other one is for the marks. Okay, now if I want to change any marks, I can easily edit the marks by going to the student marks table. ఓకే, మొత్తం టేబుల్లో నేను ఎత్తుక్కోవాల్సిన పని లేకుండా డైరెక్ట్ మార్క్స్ టేబుల్లోకి వెళ్ళిపోయి మార్క్స్ నేను మాడిఫై చేసుకుంటా. ఓకే, సో దట్ ఈస్ వన్ ఆఫ్ ద ఫీచర్. ఓకే, వీఆర్ బ్రేకింగ్ a huge information into small parts and we are linking the tables so that we can access the data completely. Okay, that is one feature. Next is data redundancy. Redundancy means duplication of data. ఓకే, డూప్లికేషన్ తగ్గుతుంది. ఎందుకు, ఇప్పుడు నేను సెకండ్ టేబుల్లో కూడా మళ్ళీ స్టూడెంట్ నేము, ఫాదర్స్ నేము, ఆ డేటా అంతా నేను రాయాల్సిన అవసరం లేదు. ఐ డోంట్ హ్యావ్ టు రైట్, బికాస్ ఐఎమ్ లింకింగ్ ద 2 tables, because my MS Access is a relational database management system. Okay, so because this is a relational database, I can link my 2 tables so that I don't have to repeat the common field names like student name and all. ఓకే, సో దానివల్ల ఏమవుతుంది, డేటా రిడెండెన్సీ తగ్గుతుంది. Next, it increases the efficiency, speed and flexibility in searching and accessing the information. Because it is a database, I can manage the data, I can sort the data, I can edit the data, I can delete the data, ivanni cheppanu. So it will be fast and easy. Next, access facilitates sharing of data. Like different users can access the same database to extract the data according to their needs. దీనికి ఒక ఎగ్జాంపుల్ ఇద్దాం. ద ఎగ్జాంపుల్ ఈజ్ లెట్ us say you all are 9th class students, obviously. Now let us say your strength is some 35 or 40 students. All the 40 students will have the same subjects, yes or no, like maths, science, social, Hindi, English, computers, okay, and etc. Okay, now all these teachers, all the 5 or 6 subject teachers, they have the common students in 9th class, ante kada. Now these teachers, they can access the student information. Okay, let us say English teacher wants to enter English subject marks of all the 30 or 40 students in your class. Now they will make a database. Okay, now same thing with the Telugu teacher, English teacher, Hindi and etc. ఈ అన్ని టీచర్స్ డేటాబేసెస్లో ద కామన్ థింగ్ ఈజ్ ద స్టూడెంట్ ఇన్ఫర్మేషన్, ఎస్ ఆర్ నో. ద స్టూడెంట్ ఇన్ఫర్మేషన్ ఈజ్ కామన్ బికాస్ ఆ టీచర్స్ అందరూ కూడా దే ఆర్ రిప్రజెంటింగ్ యువర్ క్లాస్ ఓన్లీ, సో దట్ స్టూడెంట్ ఇన్ఫర్మేషన్ ఈజ్ కామన్. Okay, so now what we can do, we can make a student information table separately, okay, and the marks table separately, so that all the teachers, they can access this student information table and they can link it with their own marks table. Okay, so it provides a facility of sharing the data. Next, access provides data security features and maintain integrity, which is useful to make our data more consistent and reliable. Of course, security features are very important when we are working with databases. Next, access provides the facility to create data forms so that the user can enter the required information in respective fields. Okay, the data forms avanni we will see. Queries are nothing but questions or information that we want. Okay, queries help you to get information on a specific topic from the information stored in a database. Okay, using queries I can get, suppose a student who got 80% marks in computers. Okay, I can simply put a query and I'll get all the information about the list of students who got more than 80 marks. Okay, queries, it's an important concept. Next, reports allow you to present the data in a meaningful and summarized manner. Reports. Now let us see how to create a blank database in MS Access. Okay, to create, first let us create a Microsoft Access sheet. Okay, to create, right click on the desktop, click on new, select Microsoft Access database. Okay, my Microsoft Access database is created. Let me open it. Now I should create a blank database. To create a blank database, click on file and go to new and select blank desktop database. Now give the database a name, let us say blank database. I'll simply click on create. Okay, now my blank database is created. Okay, when you're writing the answer, let us say if you got a question on this, when you're writing the answer, you write the same steps, like right click on the desktop, click on new, select Microsoft Access database. It creates a database sheet. Now double click or right click on the MS Access database worksheet and click on open. So it opens a database access sheet. Now go to file menu and click on new, and then from the list of available data templates or whatever, click on blank desktop database. After that, in the file name field, enter the name of the database and click on create. ఓకే, ఇలా సింపుల్గా రాయొచ్చు. మనం ఏ స్టెప్స్ అయితే చేస్తామో ఆ స్టెప్స్ ఆర్ నథింగ్ బట్ యువర్ ఆన్సర్స్. ఓకే, సో దిస్ ఈజ్ హౌ వీ క్రియేట్ ఏ బ్లాంక్ డేటాబేస్ ఇన్ ఎంఎస్ యాక్సెస్. ఓకే, ఇక్కడ ఉన్న స్టెప్స్ అన్నీ కూడా దే ఆర్ ఆల్ బేస్డ్ ఆన్ ది ఓల్డ్ వర్షన్స్ ఆఫ్ ఎంఎస్ యాక్సెస్, సో డోంట్ రైట్ దెమ్. Now let us see how to create a table using templates. So that is based on old versions. In a new version, when you create a blank database, you are presented with a table here. You can see table 1. Okay, you can also create a new table by going to create option here and click on table. Okay, create tab and then table. See, it created a table 2. Okay, so that is how we create a table. Forget about the templates because the templates are discontinued in the latest version. Okay, when you start a blank database, you are by default given with a table. Okay, next we can create multiple tables by clicking on create tab and selecting the table. Okay, I got table 3 again. So this is how we create tables using MS Access. Okay, అదే ఇందాక చెప్పినట్టే you write step by step process. Now closing Access application. So how to close Access application? You can simply click on file and select close. Okay, it is all closed. Now you can close this. So that is about the basic introduction to MS Access. That's all for this lesson. Thank you.